Drilling and stitching. Used as an alternative to stapling and where a spine is thicker than 20 mm, paperbacks and magazines can have top-tied or spine-tied stitching work done. This type of work can be done as a preparation or repair task. The tools required will include drilling board, drill, cordless works best, 2 mm steel drill bit, binder's thread, binder's needle. To judge how much thread is needed, simply measure 2½ lengths of the height of the book you'll be preparing or repairing. For top-tied stitching of a paperback or magazine. Please note, before starting this process, ensure there is a sufficient margin between spine and text. Place your book on top of the drilling board face up, with the spine of the book against the backboard to ensure the spine is square and vertical. Next, drill 3 holes along the spine. Drill the centre hole first, followed by a hole 1/3 of the way down from the top of the book and 1/3 of the way from the bottom of the book. Once you have drilled the required holes, insert the binder's thread through the binder's needle, and starting with the centre hole on the back cover, pass the needle through. Ensure that the tail of the thread is left behind, 10 cm approximately. Then pass the needle through the top hole, back through the centre, and then back through the bottom hole. This method creates a series of figure 8s. The needle end of the thread should then be passed under the top loop and the needle removed. Take the tail end of the thread and pass it under the first loop in the opposite direction to the first piece. Pull the thread tight and tie a double knot. Trim off the excess thread. The paperback is now ready for spine tape and/or a self-adhesive covering to add additional protection. Ensure not to drill too close to the text or the spine of the book. You can drill more holes if needed, however, remember, always drill an odd amount. Generally 3 holes for a paperback is sufficient. For spine-tied stitching of a magazine or children's softcover picture book. This technique is designed for centre-stapled magazines and/or children's soft-covered picture books, and used for preparing or repairing tasks. The tools required are the same, but the drilling will take place in the centre of the open magazine or book. To judge the amount of thread needed, simply measure 2½ lengths of the height of the magazine you'll be preparing or repairing. The drilling board can be used to ensure no damage to your desk surface. For an A4-sized magazine or book, a minimum of 3 holes is required in the same way as a paperback. Drill the centre hole 1/3 of the way down from the top and 1/3 of the way up from the bottom. Once drilled, insert the binder's thread through the binder's needle as before, and starting with the centre hole on the inside this time, pass the thread and needle through, leaving a 10 cm tail. As before, proceed to the top hole, then back through the centre and then through the bottom hole. Again, this method creates a series of figure 8s. As before, pass the needle end of the thread under the top loop and remove the needle. Pass the tail end of the thread under the same top loop but in the opposite direction to the first piece. Pull the thread tight and tie a double knot. Trim the excess thread. To stop the thread being tampered with, it is recommended to place either white plastic hinge tape or clear spine tape down the centre to cover the thread. The outside cover of the magazine or picture book can also have a clear spine tape and/or a self-adhesive covering applied to add additional protection.